Hey everybody, and welcome back to another reaction video from Out on That Line. And today we have our first repeater. Jeff, a couple weeks ago, did a reaction for Disturbed's The Sound of Silence, and we talked about it and decided that it would be kind of fun for me to do a reaction, and then he and I would approach it from two completely different perspectives. So he's listening to it as someone with no real vocal training, and I'm listening to it as, not to brag, but someone who's classically trained. I went to opera school. In another life, I was going to be an opera singer. So I'm really excited to listen to this and kind of keep my ears open for the technique that's being used here. So why don't we jump into it? This is Disturbed with The Sound of Silence.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again, because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping, and the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence. In restless dreams I walked alone,
Really taking its time.
narrow streets of cobblestone, neath the halo of a street lamp, I turned my collar to the cold and damp. When my eyes were stabbed by the flash of a neon light that split the night and touched the sound of silence. And in the naked light I saw 10,000 people, maybe more. People talking without speaking. People hearing without listening. People writing songs that voices never share. And no one dared disturb the sound of silence. Fool, said I, you do not know. Silence like a cancer grows. Hear my words that I might teach you. Take my arms and I might reach you. But my words, like silent raindrops, fell and echoed in the wells of silence. And the people bowed and prayed to the neon god they made. And the sign flashed out its warning, and the words that it was forming. And the sign said the words of the prophets are written on the subway walls and tenement halls, and whispered in the sound of silence.
So first things first, I've been looking at the comments on Jeff's reaction to this song, and a lot of people keep relaying the anecdote where Paul Simon contacted the lead singer of Disturbed. He contacted him and said, "You own this song now." And normally I would be like, hot take city, but I think that's absolutely true for this one. And David Draymond's voice is just such a wonderful, singular thing. I mean, you look at a song like Down with the Sickness, and you might never think that he would be capable of delivering such a tender, emotional performance. There is a concept in opera called park and bark, where you work so hard in opera on training your voice that many opera singers don't really have acting skills to speak of. So when they go for their big aria, they'll sit there, they'll draw their sword, and with like a blank expression, because they're focused totally on technique, they will just sit there and park and bark, perform their song. So it's important that the vocal quality has that emotion, and there's a lot of technique that goes into opera that accomplishes that, and David Draymond has that in spades here. When you want to get something that is loud and high, you have to make sure this is relaxed. So many times you see people, not to be insulting, but particularly amateurs, who everything's tight. They think they need to squish the sound out of their body, clench the stomach, shrink the lungs, tighten the throat, tighten the jaw, and squeeze the sound out. And it's the total opposite. The lungs are big and open, the chest is open, the shoulders are back, the head is straight, the chin is tilted, and you kind of want to form a shape in your mouth that's like you're eating a hot piece of food. Hot, hot, hot. You want to create that space, and you want a nice resonant brightness in the cheeks, but you hear David Draymond, he has that very shiny, bright quality, what the Italians would call squillo, which is basically like the gloss on a photograph, right? It's this really nice, brassy, glossy sound that he gets by keeping the throat relaxed and keeping that space in the mouth, and then sending the sound up the soft palate and out through the teeth. It's a very hard thing to think of all of those things at once and do it, especially if you're gonna try to go higher. But you keep that lifted sensation and that brightness, and it's nice and open, and you can sing. Keeps it nice. That felt effortless. Where the effort for me would come in, because I'm more of a like high baritone, a Verdi baritone. I sound like such a but I don't care. Since I'm more of a baritone, it's way harder for me to hit those higher notes. So for me, what's easy to do is, to use my falsetto, the Mickey Mouse voice, you can use that to hit high notes. Like voices never shared. What's difficult to do is to mix that head voice and, your chest voice, I don't know. But you want a nice mix of those two in the area called the passaggio. So really, you don't want it to be here because I happen to be able to do loud falsetto, but it does feel a little thin, and you can tell. Then you have your voice down here, which is very easy to make resonant and big, but it's how do you get to the middle? David Draymond is blessed to be able to just shoot up off his passaggio and have this really round, bright, resonant sound. People would give their left nut to have what David Draymond has. And then on top of that, he can add in the metal growl without hurting himself. Sometimes when you listen to a singer, or at least when I do, I get afraid because I can hear a lot of national anthem singers in particular. I'm like, oh God, are they gonna go for the high note? And it scares the shit out of me. But this entire time, I never once was like, he's gonna crack. Obviously, they have the benefit of, it's not live, you can do other takes. I didn't feel him, clenching his butthole to send that sound up. You can hear the perfect technique. There's no tightness, there's brightness, and there's that emotion that you have to mix in. Again, like you're trying to think the 1,000 different techniques. So the ability to tap into your emotions needs to be baked into that. I don't want to make this too long, but this was swing for the fences, home run for David Draymond. Let us know about other songs you'd like us to react to. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel and your notifications are turned on. And leave us comments. We love to hear what you thought. We love to hear about albums you want us to cover, artists we should check out, songs we should react to, all that good stuff. So make sure that you have become a member of the channel and join us as we continue to grow. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.